New Wave Community Media.
It's just J-Mike.
Hola, amigas, hermosas, chulas, pechochas. You're listening to Hijas, Madres Y Amigas. We are your hosts, Selena
And Lizette. Here at Hijas, Madres Y Amigas, we'll be chatting all things womanhood, so come relate, comadrear, and laugh with your two new friends.
Whether you're on the go or chilling at home, we hope you enjoy this space. Hold up.
Disclaimer, we will be sharing our personal views, thoughts, and opinions on different topics, so please don't come for us.
We are not professional advisors, so we encourage you to seek professional advice when needed. We hope you enjoyed today's show.
Okay, now, let's get into it. Hola, hola. Welcome back to Hijas, Madres y Amigas. What's up, y'all? This is your girl, Lizette, o como me dice mi amiga Dulce, la Green Eyes. And if you are a first-time listener, thank you for checking out this podcast. I hope you guys enjoy this episode and past episodes. And if you are a loyal listener returning back to check us out, thank you for doing so. So for today's topic, I chose Cabrona versus Mamona. And let me give y'all a little background as to why I wanted to talk about this topic. These past couple of weeks, I've encountered a few rude interactions with different types of people, female versus male. And these rude interactions have just made me pause and think about the way I respond to rudeness. And in these last couple of weeks, I've chosen to respond with silence, not give my energy to what is being told to me or the way someone is acting towards me. And I think the reason why I'm choosing to stay quiet is just because I don't have the energy to give them back that rudeness that they're giving to me. In the past, when I was younger, I think if someone talked to me rudely or just gave me rude energy, I would give it right back really quick. I would just respond aggressive, rudely, even maybe cuss them out, or even maybe get into a fight over it. But at this point in my life, as some of you listeners that have been following me for a while know, that I'm choosing to be more peaceful, be more mindful of how I respond to things, and not give bad off energy. So for today's episode, I thought it would be pretty fun and insightful to talk about what is a Cabrona or Chingona versus a Mamona. And for those of you that don't speak Spanish, a Cabrona in English would translate to a badass, a go-getter, a chingona. I think most of you guys know what a chingona is, like a boss bitch. And a mamona, if you haven't heard the term, mamona, the English definition is a person or a female that sucks. I'm not going to tell you what they suck, but that's what they refer to them as. But in like our culture for Mexicans, a mamona would be someone who is just disrespectful, irritating, someone that thinks they know best all the time. You can tell them the sky is red or the sky is blue and they say it's red. They just go against the grain and they just rub people the wrong way. That would be a mamona. So now, cabronas are viewed as astutas, as que no van por la vida flotando. They think about something, they want to do it, they go get it regardless of whatever rocks are in the way. They just go do the damn thing. Single moms working 2 jobs, women working full time, going to school, I think all of us know some cabronas right now or have known some in the past. Definition that I've heard a lot right now for mamona is creerte. Creerte is meaning that you're all that your shit doesn't stink. Quieres sangre pesada, like, you know, those people that come into the room and instantly you just like get a bad vibe and you're just like, oh, I don't know about that person. You know, I feel kind of weird around that person, or that person gives me bad vibes. So that would be your mamona. Quick story time to the past. I remember being in middle school, and there was a Mexican boy that he would call me cruzada, and I think he thought it hurt my feelings. And the reason why he would call me cruzada means crossed. To him, I guess he thought he was offending me because I am Mexican and Salvadorian. So every time I would walk through the hallways, I would hear cruzada, cruzada. And it wouldn't get underneath my skin because, one, I'm proud of being mixed, and two, I had never heard that term before. So I'm pretty sure it was something he made up. But after hearing it all the time in the hallways, I finally spoke up and I said, cruzada tu madre, not even thinking if it made sense. But I knew just by using the tu madre, that I would offend him and I would piss him off. So after I said cruzada tu madre, I remember he kind of stopped calling me cruzada. And I got home and I told my mom exactly what happened. And I remember my mom laughing and just saying, ay, mija, eres una cabrona. Meaning that, like, you know, you didn't give a shit. You're a cabrona. You told him off and you did your thing. Like, te vale madre. And I think I've always grown up with that mentality of being a cabrona, of saying what I have to say and doing what I have to do. My sister and I always go back and forth with each other because we send memes back and forth where it says, and some of you may have seen these memes where it says, Prefiero que diga, ahí va esa cabrona, que ahí va esa pendeja. Translating to, I'd rather people say that there goes that cabrona, badass, instead of saying there goes that dumbass. Meaning that, you know, people just tell you whatever it is and you'll believe them. So I will definitely always want to be a cabrona versus a pendeja or a mamona. So as I've mentioned, I've had a couple of rude interactions with a few people, and I'm going to share a quick story. Last week, I went off to San Jose for a training. It was this place I've never been to. It was an office space. And what I do in my line of work, the bathrooms that we use at work, we have to use a key or either a code to use the facilities, to use the restrooms. So when I got to the building, I saw that there was an office manager. Well, I went to the bathroom and I saw it was locked, but I saw that there was like a lock on it that has a key. So I thought to myself, maybe you need a key to get into the bathroom. So I went to the front where that office manager was, and I said, good morning. And she just kind of looked up at me, and I said, is there a key for the bathroom? And she just responds really nasty. She goes, well, if the door is locked, that means there's someone in there. And then she gave me this hand gesture, kind of like shooing me away. And in that point, I just felt like, one, I don't think my tone was rude to her. And two, like, damn, like she's probably having a shitty morning. So all I could think of saying was, okay, thanks. And I just walked away. I sat down and I waited for the door to unlock. And I was just thinking about it. And I was just like, that was like the second or third interaction that someone was rude to me that week. And I was just like, why are people being mean to me? I don't know if it was, you know, that I was just on my comadre, that it was that time of the month, or people were just really being shitty people. And so I was talking to my husband and my brother about it, and both of them were just like, you should have said this, or you should have said, you know, I'm asking you if it's locked because where I work, we usually need a key, a code, a quarter, whatever it is. And I was just like, I just couldn't. I didn't have the energy to respond to her negativity, even if it was to inform her that I didn't know or whatever it was. And I think more so it's because I knew that if I might have responded rudely, that I would have been really rude or really aggressive, and then that just would not have been good. So I decided to just say, okay, thanks. Keep it moving, keep it pushing. I'm probably never going to see that lady again, but it was just like, why? Why are people rude? And I get that things are going on in people's lives, but if someone is coming to ask you something politely, I think at least you could give them back that same energy. I don't know. Call me crazy. Maybe I just want people to be kind and for it to be a kind world. So I don't know about you guys, listeners, but when I think of Cabrona, the first picture that comes into my head is Jenny Rivera. And for those of you that don't know Jenny Rivera, there is a documentary on Netflix, which is really, really good. It tells you her entire life story from beginning to end. Jenny Rivera was a Mexican artist. She started from nothing. She was a single mom. She had what I believe it was 5 kids. She never took no for an answer. They told her that she couldn't become a Mexican singer in a male-dominated world, and she showed everyone that she could. She sold out arenas. She made her own albums the way she wanted. She dressed how she wanted. She sang how she wanted. She sang where she wanted. She was the epitome of a cabrona and a boss-ass bitch. For Jenny Rivera, I think that the traits that made her a cabrona, and that, I can say that I looked up to her, was that, one, she would say that no matter how many times she fell, she would get back up. And to see, obviously she was, in the public eye, so we knew everything that would happen in her life. She from a husband that would beat her to a husband that cheated on her, to there was, gossip that her daughter slept with her husband, family drama with her siblings, just a number of things. And she wouldn't shy away from those conversations. She would speak up. She would say the truth. She would say that she loved her family. She would say that regardless of what would happen in her family, that was it. It was her family. So she would always hold everyone down. But she didn't let anyone step all over her. And, like I said, that's the epitome of a cabrona. And I think she has taught me, she has taught a lot of other women and men what it is to be assertive and kind. Muchos la querían, era muy querida. She, donated her time and money to battered women, to kids of special needs. She was just an overall person that had a good heart. Even though when she had to set boundaries and be assertive, I felt like she wasn't rude about it, but she got her point across and she did whatever she needed to do. I've been sitting with the question of obviously I'm painting this picture for you guys of who a cabrona is, but I'm thinking about who can I paint a picture for you guys to see the difference of a mamona versus a cabrona. And there's not one person that I can genuinely say that you guys would probably know in the eye of, the artist world or acting world. I think we've all heard stories of artists that have had like their diva moment, but there's no one in particular that I can pinpoint to say that there's a mamona. There's definitely mamonas in my life or in my, como les digo, I guess everyday life, people that I get to talk to, and there's definitely some that I've met, but I just keep it pushing. I try to give those people grace by really like thinking about what traumas they're holding on to and why they are the way that they are. But again, that's not for me to try to decipher or to allow them to treat other people rudely. Now, let's flip the script for a moment. We also use the word cabron for men, and we also use the word mamon for men. And it's usually, cabron is usually described as, ay, ese es un cabrón, ese le pone el cuerno a su vieja, meaning that he's a cheater. So the cabrona and the cabron do have different definitions, definitely. And for mamon, I feel like mamon also has the same definition as a mamona. Like, ay, ese es bien mamón. Like, ese se cree, ese dice que tiene muchas viejas. Like, he has a lot of girls, that he has money, he has nice cars. I feel like that definition stays true for men. Now, as for me, I feel that we really don't use those two words for describing people in my, my circle. Thankfully, I don't think I have had to describe anyone as a mamon or as a cabron. Definitely in the past, I've met my, quite a few mamones and cabrones, but at this moment, none that can come to my mind. In the media, I would have to say that more in the Spanish media, I would say there's a few mamones and definitely some cabrones. None that I can mention because I don't really watch like the novelas or the Spanish channels anymore. So I'm not up to date with that unless my mom's giving me the tea about some actors or singers. So listeners, let's just do a little unpacking of the word cabrona. For me, the word cabrona means being confident, being empowering. I have a sticker on my computer that says empowered mujeres, empower mujeres, and I truly believe that 100% in the core of my heart. But there's a way to be a cabrona, right? For me, I feel that being a cabrona is not knowing every answer, but telling people that I work with, I don't know this, but I'll find out for you, and getting them the truest answer that I can find. It's about treating people with respect. It's about being a hard worker, never giving up, and having the utmost confidence in yourself that you can have. I have a lot of cabronas, chingonas in my life. I have my tias, I have my mom, my sister, friends that I look up to. My mom, I would say, definitely es una cabrona because she came here with nothing and she worked her ass off. And even though she met my dad and they were both a team, she was always a go-getter. She was always putting money away, saving money for herself just for rainy days. She always found a way to whatever she needed. She also, like Jenny Rivera, wouldn't take no for an answer. Cuando se le cerraba una puerta, she would go and find another one y abría esa. I remember as a kid, she had gotten a new job. She had left her part-time job, which was just cleaning furniture. And she got this new full-time job at Lucky's. And she was starting something completely new, something she had never done in her life, which was working in the deli department, making sandwiches, chicken, salads, stuff like that, customer service. And I remember she would get home and she would be so stressed out because there was like a million codes to enter into this little machine that would spit out this sticker, and that sticker they would then put on whatever you ordered, being a sandwich, being a salad. And she would get home and she would just say, no me voy a aprender los codes, no sé cómo le voy a hacer. She would be so stressed out. And I remember she would come home with this little book of stickers that she would print out with the name and the codes, and we would study them together. And I don't know how long it took, maybe about a week. We would study them. I would pop quiz her on what is the code for this item. And sure enough, she learned all the codes. And she was one of the hardest workers there. She always got recognized for being such a hard worker, for being a person with great customer service. Even though English was her second language, she always figured it out, made it happen. Aunque llegaba a la casa con la lengua por fuera, pero my mom was the epitome of a cabrona, just like Jenny Rivera. I can put her up in that category with her. And if my mother taught me anything, was to always be humble, help those around you, because you never know when you're going to need someone else's help. Now, let me flip it really quick. My mom, since she was hardworking and a go-getter, some people might have seen her as a mamona. And maybe those people that maybe didn't like her, I'm pretty sure they were just like, maybe Ramona se cree. So depending on what side of the spectrum you are, some people may view you as a cabrona or as a mamona. And I can honestly say, I'm sure there's people that probably think I'm a mamona because I've had to have my mamona moments when people test me. But I'm curious to see what other people think of me, if I am in fact a cabrona or a mamona. I remember when I worked at Smart and Final, I had this friend that said, oh, I would see you and I didn't even want to talk to you because you looked like such a bitch. And eventually she started talking to me and we became really good friends. And I have so many friends that was like the first thing, like, oh my God, when I first saw you, I thought you were such a bitch. And then when they got to know me, we became like the best of friends, and they knew that I was always going to hold them down. So I don't know if I just have RBD, rest bitch, whatever it is, but I try to work on that. I try to make sure that I'm not so into my thoughts, that I try to crack a little smile or look a little more easygoing, that you can come and talk to me, you can come and befriend me, that I'm not just giving off, those bitchy vibes. So it's interesting, some people may think you are a cabrona and some other people may think you are a mamona, depending on the circumstance or the situation you are being put in. That I can recount many times where I've been put in a situation where I feel that another person is testing me or choosing not to listen to me. And that's when I have to become a mamona and like reiterate what I'm saying in a rude way so they can get the picture or the message I'm trying to give them, basically, that, this is what it is that I'm telling you. Like, either you get it or you don't. But in all good fun, like I said, Cabrona is about embracing the strength, the resilience, and the assertiveness. And it's definitely not about being disrespectful or harmful to others or belittling people just to make yourself big. That is definitely not a cabrona. It's a term that can also be empowering when we reclaim it, right? Because there's been times where men will be like, ay, esa cabrona no sabe nada, o esa cabrona no sé qué. So as a woman, if we feel and we know what the word is and how that word is defining us, we can reclaim that. So no importa quién nos diga cabrona or how they're meaning it to us, no nos importa, because we know what type of cabrona we are. But it is also very important to use it with awareness, because that word may mean something else in a different culture or a different, country, part of the country. Just like we use, my family or my friends, we use stupid as saying you're funny, but we're not meaning that they are literally stupid. There's quite a few words that we use like that. So just be mindful in how you use it and who you say it to. Make sure that you guys, have at least some kind of friendship when you're using that word, so no one gets offended. Just make sure, you guys, that when you want to bring out your inner chingona or chingon by whoever's listening to this episode, make sure that you guys are always confident. No se me achicopalen. Don't, drop your shoulders, look down. When you guys enter into a room, enter with confidence, shoulders back. Como me decían when I used to model, chest out y las nalgas para afuera, stand tall, la frente bien en alto. Making sure, because if you guys stand like that, you guys are going to show that you guys are confident wherever you are. It's also important to know that to be a cabrona, you have to set boundaries. You have to define your personal and your professional boundaries. If you feel some type of way at work, speak up. And this is hard because I find myself not speaking up when things get a little heated. And it's not that I don't want to speak up, but it's that I don't want to speak up in that moment. I want to make sure that I'm taking the time to think about how I want to respond, but I make notes of what is being told to me. So make sure that you set those boundaries and that you also learn how to say no when it's necessary and how to prioritize yourself, because yourself is what matters always. Let's talk about being assertive and not aggressive. There's ways to be assertive and to tell someone when you don't like something or that you're not going to do a project that is being asked of you, or that you'll do it your way or on a different timeline. There's definitely ways to not being aggressive. And I can say for myself that I am learning. I need to find those ways to not be so aggressive or not be so abrasive, because some of the words that I may say can come off that way. And that's definitely not the message I want to convey or the person that I want to be. So just remember, when you don't know what to say, be quiet, take a mental note, write it down, think about it, pero no lo dejes written down, come back to it and have that conversation with that person once you're calmer and you're breathing and you can think clearly. Also, just embrace your independence. You guys have to learn how to cultivate a sense of independence. Que ustedes pueden solas, no necesitan a nadie, and you don't need a group of friends or someone to back you up to feel that. Just by, I guess, embracing your cabrona-ness, you'll find that. You'll find what makes you feel like a badass and when and how, or what you're wearing or what you're saying or how or who you're talking to. So just make sure that you guys embrace that, because everyone listening, you guys are enough, just in case you needed that little reminder. Y como dice esta Jenny Rivera, no matter how many times I will fall, I will always get back up. And that is super important, y'all. Y'all may be dealing with something where you feel que están en el suelo ahorita, pero remember, just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and stand up straight y con la frente en alto. You guys will develop resilience to navigate those challenges and setbacks by doing these things that I'm letting you know, because I too have fallen so many times and I've just dusted myself up and gotten myself right back up. Remember, y'all, we are all growing and learning, and it is not a linear learning cycle. We're always going up and down, and we may go 2 steps back, but then we're going to take 1 step forward. And as from one cabrona to another, make sure that you guys are always learning. No se me cierren. By listening to people talk, by how they talk, by how they email, podcasts, libros, cosas que las personas han pasado en su vida. It's all learning. So make sure that you guys are always having your eyes open, your ears open, because you guys will learn so much from anyone you come across. And if you want to take that learning or that message that they're giving you, just be open to new ideas and new perspectives. Don't judge. Do not be so quick to judge when someone is telling you something that doesn't align with what you personally believe. But take it as a learning experience. And also, we have to lead by example, you guys. Our babies and people that, are looking up to us, they are like our kids, right? We have to demonstrate what a good human being and a kind human being is, so those people can also go and take that with them. I know that there's specific people that I see in these stores where I work, and they are just like a shining bright light, and I see how they talk to people, and I see how they move, and they just put me in a good space. And then I'm just like, damn, I want to be like them. But also take the time to acknowledge those people and tell them they're doing a good job, because they're radiating that, and they're, conveying that to you, and that makes you want to be a better person. So make sure you let them know how them being super nice or polite is making you rethink the way you show up to places or to people. And if you guys are anything like me, when someone congratulates you or says good job on something, don't just be like, oh, okay, yeah, brush it off. But really congratulate yourself for whatever they're congratulating you for, or telling you you did a good job, because 9 times out of 10, you did a really good fucking job. You really thought it through. You really wanted to do this and put out something good. So be proud of yourself. Don't minimize your work or your winnings. Just take that W and say, I did it good. One tip that I can share that my girlfriend gave me is make a folder in your inbox that says like wins or good jobs, whatever you want to call it. And when someone congratulates you on something that you did, drop that email into there. So whenever you are feeling that you are not enough or that you don't contribute enough, open up that folder and go through those emails and, give yourself that peace of mind that you are enough, that you're doing a good job, that you've done good jobs, and that you can continue to do that for yourself. Y como les dije también, you guys, just being mindful will make a world of difference on how you communicate or how you receive communication about anything. This message has been coming up a lot in conversations that I've been having, is that the way that you are feeling, whether it's anxious, sad, upset, happy, whatever emotion that you are feeling, 9 times out of 10, it's how you're going to receive that message. So if you're feeling down and someone is telling you something, you're probably going to take it as a negative comment or someone being rude to you. If you're feeling happy, if you're feeling excited, anything someone tells you, you're probably going to take it like, oh, okay, maybe that person's having a bad day, pero lo que me están diciendo doesn't align to how I feel. So make sure whenever you get that negative criticism or rude comment, pause and think about how you're feeling, what has gone on during those couple of days or that week, and just know that maybe it's how you're feeling and it's not how that person's conveying it to you. So just always be mindful of communication. Also, if you feel that someone is conveying something rudely, ask them that question like, oh, like, what do you mean? Like, explain a little more, like, I'm not understanding it, because maybe they're not communicating correctly to you. And just always remember to be adaptable, you guys. Embrace the change that is going on right now in this time of your life, and just demonstrate adaptability in different situations, whether it's with your kids, testing your patience, whether it's your boss, co-workers, people out in the street. Just embrace it. Just take a moment to breathe, think about it, sit with it, and then come back to it. Listeners, I always encourage all of you guys to reflect on your own personal stories or relationships. I hope this episode explained a little bit of how I view or other people view Cabrona versus a Mamona. Think about it whenever someone is being mean to you. How do you want to show up? Do you want to be that boss ass bitch Cabrona, or do you want to be that Mamona that will probably, circulate and say how you responded to someone or how you treated them? Y los dejo con eso. Thank you so much for letting me be on your speaker and taking some of your time. As always, just wanted to share that if you guys want to find us or other podcasts, you can do so by going to New Wave, and that's nuwavemedia.org. There you can click on the links and find our episodes, find a little more about who Hijas, Madres Y Amigas is, and more information about New Wave Media. This is Hijas, Madres Y Amigas. You can find us on Instagram with that handle. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Y como siempre les digo o les decimos, when you know better, y'all, you do better. I hope you guys enjoyed this once again, and thank you. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.